Welcome back to Powers Powwow, the music show. Peace to you. Today I'll be speaking with JohnDLamb, singer-songwriter. Hello, John.
Hello, Jim. How are you today?
Good.
Good.
Thank you for coming out. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself and your family?
Wow. Okay. Born in Detroit, moved to Redford Township when I was 2 years old. Grew up there, went to Redford Union High School for 10th grade. Then I moved to Farmington Hills and went to Farmington Harrison. And then I went to Central Michigan University, was a journalism major. I started playing music in college, playing in the dorms and in the malt shop and at Central Michigan. I used to live on top of Tom's Foolery, which is a bar downtown Mount Pleasant. And I played there a couple times a month for my rent, and I cleaned the place in the mornings, and my bed was just above the jukebox, so I never got to bed, before 2 a.m. back in those days. Then I moved back to the city, and I've been living in this area ever since.
Excellent. So you are the director of Spring-Fed Arts?
Correct. Spring-Fed Arts is a nonprofit literary arts organization, but it started because I began in 1995 to direct Lamb's Retreat for Songwriters up in Harbor Springs, Michigan. Every November I put together 2 3-day weekends, and songwriters from all over the country drive up there, and we spend the weekends writing songs. And this year will be my 24th annual. But a few years after I started the Lamb's Retreat for Songwriters, I also started doing literary retreats, namely the Walloon Writers Retreat on Walloon Lake. And I did that for 9 years. Then I moved it to Harbor Springs. Then I did a Detroit, Michigan Writers Retreat for a couple years. And now I'm directing the Lost Lake Writers Retreat, which takes place in Lincoln, Michigan, which is south of Alpena. And that happens in October. And I bring in authors and poets. In fact, this year I'm bringing in Michael Zadorian, who is a local author who wrote the book The Leisure Seeker. And just a couple nights ago I was at the Maple Theater and I saw the premiere of the movie based on that novel, which stars Donald Sutherland and Helen Mirren. So pretty exciting to see one of our local authors have a movie made from his book, and to be at the premiere. It was good. And but Michael's on the staff this year along with some other famous poets and authors. Mm-hmm.
Can anybody come to this? Or
anybody can come. There's no application process, only registration. And even if you're just a fan of writers and you want to come and rub elbows, and I consider these retreats to be sort of fantasy camps. In fact, when I started my first songwriting retreat, I was inspired by the Detroit Tigers fantasy camps that happen in Lakeland, Florida. I used to hear about these weekends where you can go down to Florida and dress up in a Tigers suit and play baseball with Al Kaline and Mickey Lolich, and Jim Northrup. And I thought, well, I should put something like that together for songwriters. And so that was one of my inspirations for that.
How do they find out about that?
Well, I mean, I advertise on the internet, and before the internet came along, I developed a database of songwriters. I kind of found out some mailing lists from various folk festivals, and I made a deal with them to give me some names,
Yeah.
share their data with me.
Yeah.
And so it's just a matter of tending to our lists, and now I send out emails, and there's word of mouth and various ads too.
Oh, so if somebody looked up, they would look up JohnDLamb?
If they look up my name, or if they look up Lamb's Retreat for Songwriters, or Michigan Retreats, or if they look up, Google anything that has to do with songwriting or retreats, you would probably find my retreat listed there, And springfed.org is the name of our website. Spring-Fed Arts is the name of the organization. Springfed.org is the website, and it lists all of our events, including local classes for poets and writers. I have teachers that teach 3 6-week sessions throughout the year. They're small classes between 6 and 10 people to learn poetry, creative nonfiction, memoir. And they take place in Royal Oak. They take place in Detroit. We've had classes in Clarkston and various other places too. Mm-hmm.
Oh, and that songwriters retreat, you've written how many songs for 1,000?
Well, I've written over 1,000 songwriter assignments. The thing that distinguishes my retreat from many others is that when people attend my retreat, for every person that comes, we get about 50 people per weekend. So for each person, I, in advance, write out a song assignment for them, a scenario. It's usually a paragraph or two long, and it describes a situation or a mood, but it's fairly specific and a little bit general too. But and I give it to each person on Friday when the retreat starts, and then they have 2 days to write a song and perform it for us on Sunday after brunch. And this has been going on for years, and so it's just kind of been my method, you know, of getting people to write new songs. Because, you know, if you sit down with a blank piece of paper and somebody says, write a song, well, there's a million things going on in your head. So what I do is I give them some parameters, a little bit of focus, I give them a theme, and that way they can kind of get started a little sooner, you know. And plus, everybody in the room hears what each person's assignment is. So there's a little bit of suspense about what they're going to come up with in a couple days. And that way, and when they do perform the song on Sunday, I tell them not to say anything except for their name and then launch into the song. You know, none of this business of, well, I had a hard time writing this, or they just do the song, and then usually what happens is within a minute, everybody has that moment of, now I remember what her assignment was, you know, and it's a lot of fun. Mm-hmm.
That's excellent.
And in fact, I always have one person on my staff give me assignment every year too, so I have to write one as well. So I've had about 36 different weekend retreats, and that means that I've written at least about 36 songs over the years at my retreat. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You had performed at Hemingway's 100th birthday in...
That's correct. That was a while ago. It was
Traverse City?
Yeah. Well, actually, no. It happened in Petoskey because he used to spend some time up in the area. He had his first 19 summers were spent at the Windermere Cottage, which is on Walloon Lake, and that cottage of his eventually became the home of his great nephew, Ernie Mainland, who lived there. And so Ernie Mainland was at the Little Traverse Historical Society in Petoskey. And so I went and sang the song for Ernie Mainland that I had written about Hemingway.
The Matador?
Yeah, it's called Matador. And it's on my first studio record, which came out in 1995, called A Novel Day.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice. And you just had a CD out, Feel That?
Well, actually, no, that came out in 2006, I believe it was. 2007. So it's been a while.
Yeah, and it's interesting songs are on there. You're like a Michigan troubadour, so you wrote songs about driving down the...
There's one song called Look Out for Deer, which talks about a lot of cities in Michigan. It mentions a lot of cities, and it is about driving up north on I-75 and dealing with the elements. And that one, got some play. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you won an award for that.
Yeah, I did get a Detroit Music Award that year. Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
Thanks.
Any other projects coming
Yeah,
up?
I'm working on a record. It's coming out this year. It's supposed to be out by September. I'm having a release party in September at a location to be announced. But I've been working on this record for a couple years. And it's being produced by Jim Beiser, who I think you saw. He's a fantastic songwriter himself and great guitar player.
Yes, he
and
is.
a good producer. And so we've been working on this for a couple years, and it's nearly ready. Just have some mixing to do. Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
Okay, thank you very much. And then you're going to play some few songs for us.
I will.
I appreciate that.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you.
Yeah, good talking with you.
Yeah.
This song's called Bound to Talk. Could be Marquette, said to Juliet. This expedition, well, it ain't done yet. They don't speak French, but we will talk. We're bound to talk. I say, who's there? You say, knock, knock. This conversation might never stop. I say 2 bits, little off the top. We're bound to talk. We're bound to talk. We're bound to talk. Sure as this lake takes to Milwaukee, we'll get lucky. We won't balk. We're bound to talk. I might be Jim, you might be Huck. Don't change a word, might be bad luck. I saw a bird, you saw a hawk. That's how we talk. It might get mushy, it might get muddy. It's a mighty rush on the Mississippi. We just might sing, our hearts unlock. We're bound to talk. We're bound to talk. We're bound to talk. Sure as this river leads to Missouri. Don't you worry, we got Peter Falk. He'll make you talk. He'll make you talk. Well, you cannot walk on the water. You can talk, be a father. You and Juliet, you ain't done yet. You gotta talk, you gotta talk. And all you gotta do is take your kayak all the way to St. Louis. Yak, yak, yak. I saw a bird, you saw a hawk. That's how we talk. That's how we talk. So this is a little public service announcement called Smoke Alarm. Smoke alarm, do you smell any smoke? Do you work? I don't mean to poke, but will you not warn me? Save my possessions. Smoke alarm, when will your battery die? Is it dead? Do you have one inside you? Will you alarm me with your confessions? And all I have to do is push a button. Push a button. Stand up on the bed and push a button. Smoke alarm, will you make any noise? Will you squawk? Will you bring on the boys down at the station, drinking from a thermos? Smoke alarm, have you saved anyone? Did they test you? Did they probe you just for fun, hoping to find true reassurance? And all I have to do hearts push a button. Push a button, stand up on the bed and this next song is called Where's Your Martin? How could your parents do that to you? Did they have to make such a scene? You would have been normal by Monday morning. No trace of mescaline. Your mom and dad, they're out of their mind. All we did was yellow sunshine, like half a tab of purple microdot. One trip and look what you got. By the way, where's your Martin? The one you played when you were starting to learn that Dolly Parton song. Has it been that long since you did nothing wrong? How could your parents do that to you? Do they think you are the acid queen? You would have been normal by Monday morning. You would have been fresh, you would have been clean. Your mom and dad, they're out of their mind. Look at me, I feel fine. I was blotto, now I'm not. But one trip and look what you got. By the way, where's your Martin? The one you played when you were starting to learn that Dolly Parton song. Has it been that long since you did nothing wrong? Would have been normal by Monday morning. Do they think you are a child of the corn? When are they letting you out of here? I think your boyfriend, he disappeared. And by the way, where's your Martin? The one you played when you were starting to learn that Dolly Parton song. Has it been that long? Been that long, been that long, been that long, been that long. Well, why do we do that song about driving up north? It's called Look Out for Deer. Let's see, for this one, I'll do it in a slightly different key. So I'll use my capo, and we'll do it in A flat instead of G. I'll be coming around Boyne Mountain when I come. Takes 3 hours from the thumb. Long as I survive I-75, look out for deer. Up until I reach north of Grayling. Clear sky, smooth sailing. Then came the clouds, snow plows. Look out for deer. When you're driving up here, don't you break for me, dear, dear. Why do you think I drive? Four-wheel drive, mountaineer. When I got off in Gaylord, the thought occurred, nothing ventured, nothing gained, there's freezing rain. Look out for deer. I'm on my way down 32. 131's then just a few miles from you. Are you on the hill? Are you in the lift line? Look out for deer. When you're driving up here, don't you brake for me, dear, dear. Why do you think I drive four-wheel drive like Paul Revere? I'll be coming round Boyne Mountain when I come, and when I find you we will make that run. Someone will ask, who's a man in a mask? Look out for deer. She'll be wearing a red parka, what she said. Meet me out on Hemlock once I get my family fed. No easy task, make love last. Look out for deer. When you're driving up here, don't you brake for me, dear, dear. Why do you think I drive four-wheel drive when you're driving up here? Don't you brake for me, dear, dear, dear. Thank you very much.
It's time we stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going now. Paranoia strikes deep into your life. It will